Hello, this is Jacob Weeks, and today we're going to talk about mobile apps for athletic and activities directors, and hopefully what we can utilize with coaches, teachers, and other admin as well this upcoming season. So, our first app that we're going to talk about is Google Calendar. So, this is pretty familiar. If you do have Google, you have the chance to use this. It's free for anyone if you have a Google account. So, it's an easy way to organize, share, and post all throughout a calendar over an entire year. And if you want to let it keep going to the next year and the next year, you can do so as well. But you can individually post on there, or an entire organization can put in their own calendar and all the different events. And this is where you can put your schedules, the different events and contests that you have, practices, and also bus schedules as well that all coaches, all teachers, and if you want to get permission to students or parents, they can also see it as well. So here's an example of what Google Calendar looks like. So here you can see all kinds of different days and then the different events on each of the days. And if something runs a lengthier schedule than what it shows in one day, it will take up multiple boxes. And on the left side, then you can put down your calendar, like a sports season calendar, and you can just fit it all onto one calendar and you can scroll through all the different ones. So it's going to be very helpful and useful for all coaches and for an entire school organization. Next one's Game Changer. So I've used this in the past, mostly with baseball and softball, but you can also use it for all kinds of different sports. So it's a sports collecting data tool, and you can do this to see how players are performing, and you can also live stream games and also practices as well, in case any family members that can't make it can see it, and also so you can go back and see what do your players do well, or you can see about just little calls that were made and see how you can do better. So it also records the stats as well live, and then you can utilize this and collect it and see where are my players performing, what did I do right, where should I change how we're doing all kinds of different things in our activities. So just for athletic department purpose, so it's used to promote games, so you can live stream all these games easily. You just have to have the mobile app, and anybody can access this if they have an iPad, an Android, or any kind of Apple products. Also, just makes coaches' jobs easier. I know whenever I used it, I could see how my players are performing, and if a player's not performing up to their standard, then you can show the student actually and say, "Hey, this is what you're doing," and this other person, we're going to give them an opportunity to then go put that effort, so they can possibly make changes, and just so you want the best lineup possible, so it's going to make it a lot easier for coaches to have that as well. So here to show an example of just a live stream. So you'll have the score at the top, different innings. So this is just for baseball right here, and you can see like you can also do miles per hour on pitches as well. You can see box scores, the different plays. If you want to create clips and highlights, so over here we have a profile of just a little student athlete, and then you can see video clips that they've had, and then they can use this to promote themselves if they want to do that on their own. And if you also want to promote that as a coach or from an athletic department purpose, you can do that as well. Then you can see the different stats and spray charts as well. And then here it is just showing some stats from a game, or you can see all the stats throughout the entire season, and you can filter this so it makes a coach's life a lot easier. So I highly recommend using this when it comes to any kind of sports season, especially baseball and softball. And then our last one, this is my favorite one that I have. It utilizes a lot of them all together. Well, this is Connect Team. So this is how you communicate, schedule, and manage progress. So you can also talk to players and families, and you can also schedule and manage events through this app. So 80 uses for this. So if you need to have concession stands ran, or anybody that's keeping the gate, then they can easily go on here and access and see whenever they're scheduled to do it, or they can also put in whenever they want to do it. And then you can also check in and see and make sure that they're on time as well. You can also do this with bus schedules as well, and you can plan all out with all the different bus drivers, and then you can share this with parents, students, and other coaches as well. Also, if you have anyone doing volunteer hours, they can also do this and say, hey, they're putting in the hours here. Because sometimes we do have volunteers that want to schedule. So then they can say, hey, we want to pick up trash after this event. And then they can track this, and then they can also jot it down for information for whatever use they have for it. And also, coaches can use it for attendance and just communicating with student athletes as well. You want to make sure students are there on time. So if they're there, you can just check them in. And if you have any problems with any communication, you can also do this all through this app. So here it is showing the app. So it's saying like start shift on the far left. You have a time clock. You can see exactly where it is on a map as well if you want to share that location with anyone. You can also just share any kind of hazard that might happen or anything that might go on at a certain sporting event. The admin can say, hey, we had a problem with this and that. And then you can see that as well. So the next one is showing just communicating with different people. And our last one's just showing a schedule. So it shows a schedule for one certain day. And then you can also go back out of that as well. And you can see it over the duration of entire month. So those are all three of our apps that we have for all you coaches and admin. So hopefully we can utilize this coming year and we can make the most of it. Thanks for listening. And hopefully we can get better from using all of these. Thanks and have a good one.